So, welcome to class today. Today, I'll be taking on branding, and I actually love the concept of branding. So, whoever starts with, let's look at the agenda for class today. We have a 6-point agenda for the class today. The first thing we'll be looking at is brand comprehension. Then secondly, we're going to look at the relationship between marketing and branding. Thirdly, we're going to look at brand elements. Then we'll look at questions involving branding. We'll look at brand benefits and brand measurements. Okay, so let's start with brand comprehension. We'll look at the what's and the what not. So before I tell you what branding is, let me start with what branding is not. You know, sometimes when we talk about branding, people's attention usually goes to visual design, the logo, the font, the color, advertisement, packaging, or marketing. But branding goes beyond that. Yes, logos, fonts, advertisement, and packaging are all components of branding, but they are not the core of branding. So what is branding itself? Branding is about influencing a customer's perception about your company. Branding is about inducing a feeling or notion about your company or product in the minds of your customer. It's influencing what they think and how they think about your products. No, the core of branding is in the brand promise, what you are promising your people, your brand position, like the niche you occupy in the market, and your brand strategy. As we continue with the class, I will explain brand promise, brand position, and then brand strategy. So let's look at the definition of branding. What is branding? Branding is the art of identifying, creating, and managing the assets and actions that influence the perception of a brand in stakeholders' minds. Take note of this definition. It is the art of identifying, creating, and managing the assets and actions that influence the perception of a brand in the stakeholders' mind. Let me break down that definition for you. Let's look at the first word there. Branding is the art. Look at the word branding. In English, they will call that a continuous term, a continuous present term. Yes. So the art means is a continuous one. Branding is a perpetual and a continuous process. It does not just stop, because the people, the market, and business, they are constantly changing. And therefore, your brand must keep in pace in order to remain relevant. Let's look at the next three group of words: identifying, creating, and then managing. No, branding is an organized process, because you must first of all identify who you are or what you want to be in the eyes of your stakeholder. Your stakeholder involve your customer, your workers, and your clients. You need to identify who you want to be, what you want to be. Then you create the brand strategy that will position you in the market, because you cannot just serve everyone. Branding make you to specialize, so that you don't just you're not just a general product to everyone. You're a specific product to a specific group of people that creates tribe, that create this form of tribesmanship. Then we'll go more into that as we continue with the study. So branding is an organized process that you must first of all identify who you want to be. You create the brand strategy that position yourself in a unique position, and then you constantly manage everything that influences your position. The third key word in that definition that I want you to look at is assets and actions. Assets means everything that belongs to the company that influence the brand. The visual identifying element like the logos, your color, the fonts, your products, the staff, the infrastructure, the advertisement, etc. Everything that belongs to your company is your assets. While actions include the services, the human relation, the customer support, and the experiences. Now, listen, these assets and actions project into your stakeholders' minds, slowly building up a perception about your brand. You know, as a brand, everything you do, your actions and your inactions, people are taking note of. So you must be conscious about this branding process, because people form images, they form perception, they have an understanding of your company. So you want to be the driver, you want to be the creator of that perception, because if you are lying to the public, they might tarnish your image. That is why you have to be peculiar. That's why you have to be very specific and interested in forming your own brand. Then the fourth thing there in that definition is perception of brand. What's perception? The perception of a brand is the reputation that people have in their minds regarding you. Remember, you are your brand. Your company is your brand. Your product is your brand. The reputation, the association, the images, the mindset that people have regarding your brand is the perception of a brand. This perception is as a result of the branding process or the lack of a branding process. Then finally, the last keyword in that definition of branding is stakeholders. Like I said before, stakeholders include your customers, your workers, your prospective clients, your shareholders, your business partners, the host community, and even your competitors. Yes, they are your stakeholders. Each one builds up their own perception depending on their interaction or their experience with your brand. Let's look at that definition again. Branding, therefore, can be defined as the art of identifying, of creating, of managing the assets and actions that influence the perception of a brand in the stakeholders' mind. Let's go down. The next thing we're going to look at is the relationship between branding and marketing. No, that's like the chicken and the egg. Which one comes first? Is it branding or marketing? Do we market something that has no brand, or we have to brand the product before we market it? So I'll give you 5 relationships between branding and marketing. Actually, 5 differences. Number 1, listen, marketing is what you say you are, but branding is what they say you are. In marketing, you are the one advertising yourself. But in branding, they're building a perception of who you are. So that's why you should take branding very well. Take it very serious. Marketing is a way to get a customer's attention, while branding is a way to keep their attention. I'm giving you the difference between branding and marketing. Marketing drives sales, while branding drives loyalty and recognition. No, the end product of marketing is sale. You want to sell a product. You just want to get the product out of your, whether it's good or bad. But branding, you're building a perception. You're building a legacy. So branding drives loyalty and recognition. Listen, number 4, marketing affects a customer's immediate decision to make a purchase, while branding affects the customer's mindset on the product, leading to a purchase. No, marketing affects your immediate decision to buy something, while branding gives you a mindset That's why you see companies that are taking branding very seriously. Apple Computer or Apple phones. They have really branded their product that we just have this wonderful mindset about them. That even if we cannot afford them, we just desire the products. That's why you see other companies, other phone companies like Techno, Infinix, Itel, they spend a lot in marketing. But because Apple has formed a good brand, they have a name for themselves. They don't even need to market much. But people must definitely hear of them. Branding is very important in operating a business. Number 5, the end result of marketing is to create a need for a customer. Remember your definition of marketing in the previous class. That's to do with the need of a customer, meeting the need of a customer. The end result of marketing is to create a need for a customer. Why the end result of branding is to create a relationship between the customer and the seller. Let's move further and look at the next section, brand elements. When we talk about brand elements, we're talking about the things that make up a good brand. And there are 7 brand elements that we're going to look at in this class. Number 1, the brand visual identity. This one is actually the most popular because that's where we get the logo, the color, and the rest of them. When we talk about brand visual identity, visual means what you can see. So your brand visual identity is the way people recognize the brand. It is what they see. It is the integrated system of visual elements that makes your brand recognizable and differentiated. So things that make up your brand visual identity elements are your logos, your color, your typography. Typography means the way your name is being written. If you look at the way Coca-Cola is being written, it's different from the way Pepsi is being written. Coca-Cola is written in a stylish font. The Coca-Cola is bent, is italics, but Pepsi is straight. That is what we call typography. Anywhere you are, once you see that font of Coca-Cola, you know that yes, this is Coca-Cola. The name Coca-Cola can never be straight. They have formed that typography, that font, they have that peculiar font. It's part of their branding process. And you see that every time in all their products. There has never been a time where Coca-Cola has been written in straight form. The same thing with Pepsi. Pepsi has never been written in a bent form. It's always straight. So the brand visual identity elements include your logo, your color scheme, your typography, your photography. Photography means the images, the iconography, that means the icons that make up your brand. Listen, as a business owner, your business should have a logo. It should have a particular color that fits the business. Like when they look at your business, they say, yes, this is this business color. For example, Pepsi. Pepsi, we know that Pepsi is blue and red. We know that Coca-Cola is always red. So these brands, they have a particular color. So your own business, your logo can carry that color that is peculiar to you. Could have the same type of font. So that in your marketing, not that in a particular product on the package, your name, your company name is written in a different font. Another product comes out, your company name is written in another font. No, these things should be consistent. And then the icons that follow it. Let's look at the logo of Nike. We know that swoosh logo, that logo of good. Everywhere you go, once you see that good on a shirt or on a shoe, without even the name Nike written on it, you know that this is what Nike. Or even Adidas. Adidas, and the 3 stripes. You just know that this is Adidas. And you look at there's a tagline or punchline that usually goes together with Nike, and that is just do it. That is their tagline that has been associated with their logo. Now, your brand visual identity is the stamp on the word. It is the beautiful feeling. It is the aesthetic system that gives your brand the power to communicate its essence in a visual instant to all who experience it. Let's look at the next brand element. Remember, there are 7 in number. The next brand element is in the brand promise. What is the brand promise? The brand promise is the pledge you make to those you serve. For example, when you think about safety, you think about Volvo. Because Volvo car in those days have promised their customers that they will have the safest cars on the market, and they have actually delivered to it. Your brand promise should not be confused with your mission statement, please, because your mission statement describes what your company does, and almost every company will have this. While your brand promise tells the world your peculiar purpose. No, your mission statement tells the world what you do, while your brand promise tells the world your purpose. It provides like a beacon to guide your marketing strategy. It holds you accountable for delivering consistent and genuine message that matches your customer experience. See, I'm going to the next slide. I'm going to give you how a brand promise should look like. Your brand promise is expressed in many forms. It could be your taglines, it could be in your messaging, in your advertisements, your social media, and beyond. You can state it explicitly, or you can state it softly in a way that is implied. But the most important thing is that anything you promise your customer, anything your product is promising, should be kept every time. Okay. The next element is brand positioning. Brand positioning is very important in communicating your brand's unique value. Remember, your product is not meant to serve everybody in the market. In positioning your brand, you define the unique place it occupies in the minds of those you serve. No, positioning defines what segment of the market you are targeting. Brand positioning shapes customer preferences. It dictates buying behavior and serves as the basis for customer loyalty. Remember, your positioning determines what segment of the market you are targeting. Your brand positioning shapes your customer preferences, and it tells them, it dictates their buying behavior and serves as a basis for customer loyalty. Take, for example, let's look at a brand positioning statement. In defining your brand position, there's something we call the brand positioning statement. And the brand positioning statement is a sentence that sums up your brand promise and your brand position, your unique selling position, your unique selling proposition. There are 6 components to a brand positioning statement. Number 1, your product. Number 2, the category that product or brand competes in. Number 3, the target customer. Number 4, your value proposition. Number 5, the reason for them to believe. And number 6, differentiation, how you stand out from the crowd. Let's take an example of a brand positioning statement. Take a company. Number 1, that company, name of the company is ABC. ABC is the one nationwide pharmacy retailer. So the category in which this ABC is competing in is in what? The pharmacy retailer category. Now, who are the target customer? Women aged 35 to 65. These are the target customer for the retailing. So ABC is the name of the company. Its category is pharmacy retailers, and then the target customer is women aged 35 to 65. Then what is the value proposition that this ABC company is providing? Say that it has expert services and it has the contemporary products. What is the reason it is giving the world so that they can believe? It say can make you easy to keep your loved ones healthy and happy. And how does this stand out? So that unlike other national drug stores and chains, ABC Pharmacy is the largest employer of pharmacists and will stay abreast of the latest trends to meet our customers' evolving needs. So this is a proper brand positioning statement, a document that every company should have. It should have 6 components. Number 1, the product, the company, the brand. Number 2, that statement should contain the category in which the company is competing. Example, this example I've given you now is the pharmacy retailer. Should also contain the target customer. Remember, brand positioning is for a particular market. You are not serving the entire people. Apple does not sell to everybody. You have Nike does not sell to everybody. It's not a generic product. It's for a specific group of people. People that can afford it. People that are looking for luxury and comfort. Now, this company, your brand should have a target customer, should have its niche. That is what we call branding. Then, what value are you proposing to the world? Then you should give them a reason to believe you. And then, how are you different from other competitors? These 6 components are the things that make up your brand positioning statement. Let's move over to the 4th element of branding. The 4th element of branding is what we call the brand personality. Brand personality is like the personality of every human being. It is some certain emotional or personal qualities that will associate with a particular brand. For example, look at it. From the advertisement and marketing of Coca-Cola, you know that Coca-Cola, every time they do advertisement, it's about happiness. We associate happiness with Coca-Cola. What about Pepsi? You see youthfulness, that's why they will call these footballers to come and advertise Pepsi. They will call Ronaldo, and rather they will call Messi, they will call Neymar. Pepsi is associated with youthfulness. Coca-Cola is associated with happiness. That Jeep Wrangler is associated with ruggedness. Then Rolls-Royce is associated with luxury. That is the brand personality. Every element of the brand identity, including the color, the logo, the typography, adds to the personality. Brand personality is how your brand comes to life in everything, from your brand story, to your brand voice, to your brand ability, what your brand can do. Brand personality is what makes Apple the tricky minimalistic author. Brand personality is the reason it is identifiable to its loyal customers and the basis for the highly personal relationships that they form with it. Because brand personality is actually how your brand would look like and sound if it were a person. The 5th element I'll look at now is brand voice and communication. Brand voice is not what you say, but how you say it. It has to fit your brand so that the language you use is very important. See, you have to match the type of brand you are with and the type of voice you use.
Please remember to join again once the 10 minutes elapse.
Hello, I can't hear you properly. Okay, so we stop at brand voice. And I say that. Hello, sir, you were saying something. Okay. So we stop at brand voice. That brand voice is not what you say, but how you say it. That the type of brand you wish to be should be communicated through the manner in which you speak to your audience. It has to fit your brand language. That is, say, your brand voice, your system of communication, the language you use should match the type of brand you are and the type of voice you use. For example, what viewpoints do you use in your communications about your brand? Do you use a first person we, or a third person? When you're talking about your brand, when giving out newsletters, print materials about your brand, do you use the first person or the third person? It is essential that you stick to grammar rules and make sure you are consistent with terminologies and level of formalities. For example, when building a website, multiple people are providing content. So someone needs to have an overview to ensure that the language structure remains the same. This follows for printed materials, newsletters, notices on school boards, banners, emails. Your voice, your communication medium should be the same. It should be about the detail. Your language and the viewpoint you use in your communication should be consistent, and it should match the type of brand you want to communicate to the world. Let's go to the sixth element of branding: brand story. Brand story illustrates the organization history, along with how the history adds value and credibility to the brand. When we talk about brand story, it is a summary of all your products, your services, and the positive impact they are having on your customers. No, brands have many powerful stories to tell that will attract the right families and customers and increase the inquiries. But the challenge is knowing which stories and using the right language and the tone that will attract the right people. You know, every company tells a story. Indomie, when they advertise their product, they are telling a story. Coca-Cola, when they advertise their product, they are telling a story. And Monkey, when they advertise their product, they are telling a story. In the advertisements, it's a story that they're telling about family, about the happiness that Indomie can bring to a family, about the unity, about the love and everything. So you should be strategic with your brand, should create a story, because people are looking for a reason to believe you. And then testimonials are an excellent way to reassure your audience. You know, how do you get testimonials and stories? Testimonials and stories can come from the customers, can come from influencers, can come from your employees as well. You know, it is great if you can develop testimonies that focus on a particular area as well as the general ones. However, your brand story is more than just your testimonials. It's about the stories you create on social media. It's about the stories, the newsletter your company is publishing. It's about the blog posts you are writing and so on. It is the combination of the stories you are sharing both online and offline. All of your messaging, everything about your messaging, your communication channels should be aligned with and should be supporting your brand promise.
Brand differentiation. Differentiation, as the word suggests, are those things that make the brand stand out in the crowd. For example, Dell Computer lets people choose their own system, which make it different from others which just sell a ready-made machine at the shop with no scope for customization. Just like the name implies, you people, the word differentiation, as a business owner, there should be something that differentiates you with other businesses. There should be something that somebody will know you for. Just like Apple, for instance, we already know Apple for customization. Apple has a strict rules to their business. They don't want to mingle with anybody. They don't want to have any, have anybody coming into their business. They just want to, be themselves. So whenever you hear Apple, Apple is Apple. You can't start using Apple charger to charge a Samsung phone, or just like I can actually use my Samsung phone now to charge my Nokia or any other Android phone. But but Apple, you cannot do that. You understand? So that differentiates them from other, other brands. They just have that identity that we are just alone. We are who we are. We are the best in the market, and we don't collaborate. We don't have anything to do with other people. So once you're going for Apple, you're going for Apple. It's not like when you are using Apple, you can say, okay, I'm using Apple phone, and I'm using Samsung charger to charge it. You understand? So you as a brand owner, probably maybe when you have your own brand, or already you have your own brand, let that be something that you can say for sure. this is something that differentiates me from other, brands. This is what makes me unique in the whole market. This is what people are actually looking at. And once they see this and they say, oh, this is a particular brand, you understand? Are we together? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So other things that can differentiate people could be your logo, could be how you carry out yourself, your graphics, the way you attend to customers. There's a lot of things that can differentiate you, differentiate your brand. Just like when it comes to hosting company, you understand, there's a particular company called Namecheap. Now, why Namecheap is different from other company is that Namecheap have a very good customer support. You understand, even at midnight, if you have issue and chat Namecheap, they will respond to you. Unlike other brands that sometimes it might take them 24 hours to even respond to your issue. So these are some of the key features as a business owner you might want to front out and say, oh, this is what I want. This is the image I'm fronting out. I want people to see me based on this image. So whenever people are looking for best customer support, they will let it be that they're talking about my company. Whenever people are talking about security, let it be that they are talking about my company. Whenever they are talking about integrity, let it be that it's me, my brand they are talking about. So let there be something that differentiates you from every other brands out there, so that you can always stand out unique. You can always stand out from among the rest, so that people can actually and easily identify you and say, this is the best, and this is why we like this brand, or this is why we trust this brand, or this is why we want to use this brand, or have things we do with this brand. Are we together?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. That's so we stop at the seventh element of branding. Let's proceed. I'm coming. Let me just get the slide over there. All right. So I was saying that as far as your brand is concerned, you should dare to be different, publicize your differences, and differentiate, as that is a key part of your overall branding experience. Let's go over to the next agenda, which is brand questions, the WH questions of branding. So in the WH questions of branding, there are 3 categories of people that are supposed to ask questions about your brand. The first category, you need to ask yourself. The second person you need to ask is your tribe. Your tribe refers to your customers, your clients, people that are patronizing you. And then finally, you ask about your competition. So what are the questions you are expected to ask yourself? Number 1, ask yourself. These are brand-related questions. Ask yourself, what are my fundamental beliefs and values? If it's a sole proprietorship or a big-time business, you ask yourself, what is the fundamental belief? What is the value system of this company? Number 2, what is the cause of our mission? What is our mission statement? What is the vision statement? Number 3, you ask yourself, what motivated you to launch this brand? What is the idea? Is it to impact people's life? Is it to solve a problem, or just to make money? And then number 4, you ask yourself, what distinguishes you out? Because if you are not different from others, you will just be lost in the market. Number 5, you ask yourself, what is the corporate culture of my company? Does your company have a culture? Does it have a system of value? Number 5, what is the communication traits? What is the pattern? What is the brand voice, the tone? How do we communicate to our customers? How does the customer service session communicate to the clients? And then number 7, what emotions do we want our customers to feel? Number 8, why do we want to make our services available to the markets? Rather, this place is market, not government. How do you want to make the services available to the market? And then you ask yourself, how do I want my brand to be seen? Let's go to the next category of person you ask. You have to ask your tribe. Your tribe refers to your employees and also your customers. Ask them, how do we describe our brand? How can you describe our brand as a company? Ask them, what do you like best about our brand? This could be like as a questionnaire or email or quiz sent to their inboxes. Now, you can also go for market survey and get all this information. Say, if our brand was a person, what 3 words would you use to describe him or her? Also ask your employees and your customers, what will you add to the brand to make it more interesting and exciting? Then you also ask your employees, this particular question, you ask your employees, what do you think outsiders say about our brand? Collect answers from different sources, from your employees, from your customers, and then look for the common elements and ask yourself, how do this common description, like if their answers are the same, look for those things those responses that are the same, group them together and ask yourself, how does this response now matches what I want to communicate about my brand? And what do I change to create more consistency if those things are not evident in my website and in my marketing materials? Then as a business owner, as a brand, you also need to study your competition as well, so that you don't be put aside of markets. So what do you ask about your competitions, about your rival? You have to examine other brands that people are looking at when they consider your own. So you ask yourself these questions about your brand. How do those brands present themselves? And then how can I set my own brand apart? Remember, if you are doing everything that every other person is doing, you might not be able to stand out. There is a business term called the blue ocean and the red ocean. There's a book written, the title of the book is Blue Ocean. You can get that book. It talks about brand positioning. The red ocean refers to a marketplace that is overcrowded. It's like if you have an ocean and we have a lot of sharks in that ocean and just small fishes. You have so many sharks feeding on small fishes. The ocean will be bloody, will be full of red blood and the rest of them. And the sharks will be killing themselves. But the blue ocean will just have 1 or 2 sharks and a lot of fishes. The ocean will not be bloody. The sharks will be enjoying themselves. So how can you set your brand apart? Instead of being staying in the red ocean, move out to the blue ocean, differentiate, carve out a niche for yourself. You are not meant to serve the entire public. Create your own tribe, create your own club. Do you understand? There's a wise saying that goes like this: he who asks questions will never get lost. Be deliberate about the questions and what you do with the responses, because the responses should form a basis of your brand strategy and then corporate culture. Let's go to the next session, which is brand benefits. Any benefit for branding? Do you have any benefit for branding? Let me take a quote from one of the modern fathers of branding, as Martin Umaia. What does Martin Umaia have to say about branding? This is an excellent quote from Martin Umaia. Martin Umaia says, the ultimate goal of branding is to get more people buy more for more years at higher prices in spite of more competitions. Take a look at Nike sneakers, Adidas sneakers, and any other sneakers that they sell in the market, maybe Okrika or Nigerian made. No, those sneakers, Nike sneakers are very expensive. But you see a lot of young people buying it, still buying it. You ask yourself, why would somebody spend a lot of money and go and buy designer clothes, and Nike sneakers and this them? Because Nike have branded themselves. You see a lot of people, a lot of young people buying an Apple phone and it's very expensive, buying iPhone, buying an Apple computers. And you say, this is very expensive. When I can just buy HP, I can just buy a Dell computer, but they are going to spend a lot of money in buying an Apple product because of branding. So the ultimate goal of branding is to get more people buy more at more years at higher prices in spite of more competition. That is the ultimate goal of branding. If you brand your products very well, you can command any price you want. That is why the concept of branding should be taken very seriously in your business. So let's look at about 5 benefits of branding. Number 1, identity. Branding gives you an identity. It makes you known. So people love security and they hardly invest or patronize what they don't know because it makes them feel insecure and uncertainty. I remember one of the elements of branding was brand visual identity. So branding gives you identity, and identity creates security. Branding creates identity and security promotes patronage because people love security. And more business patronage implies what? Success. So this is it. Branding gives you identity. Identity creates security. And because people love security, it leads to what? More patronage. And more business patronage implies what? More business success. All right. So I've looked at the elements of branding already. Identity doesn't just end at recognition, it also extends to reputation. Reputation, your characteristics in the reputation you have in the minds of people. Also, here's a simple equation for branding. Branding equals recognition plus reputation, and reputation equals identity, and identity equals security. Security equals patronage, and patronage equals success. Number 2, benefits of branding. In our modern world today, there are so many noise, adverts, attention seekers. You as a business owner, you cannot afford to be like everyone else. You must strive to be different. You must aspire to stand out. You must learn to swim in the blue ocean because the red ocean is here. You must carve out a niche for yourself. If you want to go beyond surviving to dominating, differentiation, and that is what branding does. Brand differentiation gives you an edge over others. It makes you a king in your own space. It makes people to remember you because you are not just a business that does a lot and confuses people, but a business that is focused on a single purpose, a single agenda, and mission. If people can easily recall what you stand for because you specialize, and then it will more readily patronize, like Jim Ike, a popular Nigerian author, he once said, the entire structure of your success is dependent on how different you are. How different you are from your competitor determines whether you succeed. Number 3, branding gives you loyalty. No, branding builds and promotes customers' loyalty. That is why you want to ask, you might want to ask how. I will tell you, effective branding leads to tribe creation, and people live in the tribe. The foundation of a tribe is a sense of belonging to a particular community. That's why I see football clubs, they have perfected this art of branding in such a way that they make fans see themselves as more than just fans or as spectators, but as a fellow tribesmen, as members of one big family that have a very strong sense of belonging and ownership of this club. You know, this feeling of tribesmanship breeds brand loyalty. That's why you see, even if somebody's club is losing, they will still support that club, because club owners have really branded this football club in such a way that people are now loyal to you. See somebody say, I'm a fan of Man U for 20 years. Somebody say, I'm a fan of Real Madrid for 30 years. Whether they are winning or they're not, or they're losing, they cannot just switch to another club. That's because of the way these football club owners have branded it. The same thing with musicians, comedians, celebrities. They have branded themselves in such a way that they create stripes that breed them loyalty, and this generates more profits for them. Number 4, branding increases business value. Branding increases business value. A very strong established brand can increase their business value by giving your business, your business or your school more leverage. That is, if it's in the education sector, it gives your business, your school more leverage in any industry at all. This makes it a more appealing investment option. When you have branded your company, it increases your business value in the marketplace, and you cannot attract the right investor. It builds a strong reputation, and a strong reputation means a strong brand, which in turn translates into what? Value. That value can mean influence, it can mean price premium, or it can mean you occupying the minds of everybody in that marketplace. The brand is a business asset that holds monetary value in itself and must have a place of its own or on the business balance sheet, because it creates the overall worth of the company. Let's look at the 5th benefit of branding. Branding is a marketing strategy itself. Branding enhances your existing company marketing strategy. It lays the foundation for the new one. When you brand your company very well, it breeds word of mouth referrals from your customers and even your employees. That's because an employee that works for a strongly branded organization will be more satisfied with their job, and they will have a higher degree and pride in being associated with your company. Just imagine that you're a staff of Google. You'll be so happy, you'll be telling people, I'm a staff of Google, I'm a staff of Google. The same thing, when you have branded your company very well, people will be happy to be associated with your brand. Your customers will be happy to be associated with your product. That's why I see people, they feel proud whenever they're driving Benz. See people, they feel this type of pride whenever they're driving a BMW, because of the way Benz and BMW, they have branded themselves different from the way Toyota car owners and Toyota company has branded themselves. Branding is a marketing strategy, sir. That's why you need to take it very well seriously. Now, how do we measure our brands? This is the last agenda. How do we measure our brands? In this section, I'll look at the triple errors, like the triple E's, the triple R, and the triple A. How do we measure our brands? Now, how do we measure our brands? Let's look at the triple errors. The first three is what? Enlightenment, exposure, and then engagement. The next 3 R's: recognition, recall, and then referral. And then the last 3 is awareness, acceptance, and then adoption. I'll take it one after the other. Enlightenment. What talk about enlightenment? We're talking about how many clients and staff know your brand tagline. Number 2, now question you need to ask. We are talking about how do you measure whether you have a brand or not. These are some questions you need to ask. In case of enlightenment, you measure your enlightenment and potential. How many clients, how many customers and staff know your brand tagline? Just like we say Nike, the tagline for Nike is what? Just do it. Okay. The tagline for MTN is what? Everywhere you go. Understand? So your own business now, your own product, how many clients and staff know your brand tagline? How many of them know your unique selling proposition? How many of them know your unique brand position? That's how you measure your brand, whether you have a brand or not. You also have to measure exposure. Ask yourself,
How many social media platforms is currently active on? As we go on with this digital money blueprint, there is a course on social media marketing advertisement. We'll get to that. But you ask yourself, how many social media platforms is your organization currently on? Does your business have a business page? Does it have a Facebook page? Does it have a LinkedIn? Does it have Instagram page? How do you expose your brand to the world, if not through social media that has made the world a global village? Also ask yourself, how many billboards or traditional media advertising platform is your brand presently on? Then measure yourself in terms of what engagement. Do you usually receive messages and comments on your social media posts, pages, and profiles? Now, how many times have you received inquiries via the phone when you put up your advertisement? That's how you measure the performance of your brand in your market. Let's look at the next 3 R's. Recognition. How many non-customers, that is outsiders, can actually associate your brand color to your brand name? For example, now, if I mention red, Coca-Cola, the color of Coca-Cola is what? Red. Understand? Everybody knows that. Now, the color of MTN is what? Yellow. The color of blue is what? Green. Your own brand now. How many people can associate your color? How many people can recognize your color? Do you understand? That is recognition. How many outsiders or non-customers can recognize your brand logo? Your Apple has a very iPhone and Apple product has a very unique logo. Anyway, you just see that that shape of an apple, we know that that's an iPhone. Understand? So how many people can actually recognize your brand logo, your business logo? This is how you measure your performance in the market. Then the next one is recall. How many customers can successfully recite your marketing theme song? You know how whenever Indomie advertisement is on, you see children start singing, just start singing the song. This is the way Indomie has branded themselves. That everybody just, once you just hear the intro, everybody just starts singing the song. Now, in your own marketing, now, how many people can successfully recite your marketing theme song? Now, how many employees can successfully recall your brand's motto? Your own employees as a business owner. How many of them know your brand's motto? This is how you measure the brand, because we're talking about measurement of brand. How do you measure brand? Then the next R is what referral. How many customers have you gotten as a result of word of mouth referral from an existing customer? Now, if your current customers are not spreading the message, it means that there is something there's something wrong. So do you measure your brand through what? Word of mouth referral? How many positive reviews does your brand have online? Let's say you are a web designer or your mobile app maker, you make apps, okay, and then you now put it on Google Play Store. How many people have actually reviewed it? How many positive reviews do you have? No, positive reviews, they actually help. Let's go to the next set of A's. The first A is awareness. How many persons know the brand? And then what is the number of likes, follows, and fans you have on social media? Acceptance. How many persons or customers have come to accept your brand unique position? Remember, if you look at a bank like Rolls Royce, everybody knows Rolls Royce is for the big men. Mercedes is for the big men. BMW is for the big men. How many people have come to accept your brand unique position? Now, does your brand have a nickname or abbreviation that is accepted generally everywhere? You know, when we look at the MTN, the full meaning of MTN was mobile telecommunications, all right, network. But we just have a nickname for it, MTN. The same thing with Glo and the rest of them. They all have long names, but then they have abbreviations. Now, does your brand have a nickname abbreviation? And many of them are actually accepted generally everywhere. Then the last A there is adoption. How many persons can testify or vouch for the authenticity of your brand promise? You told them that your product will do this, your brand will do this. How many persons can actually vouch for it? Then, how many testimonials do you have circulating online? As business owners, it's very important for us to gather testimonials, put it on our websites, make it part of our marketing strategy. It actually encourages others to buy for us. So, how many testimonials do you have circulating online? Listen, in conducting a proper brand audit, in actually auditing your brand performance and measuring your brand, these questions must be answered. All these questions on the 3 E's, 3 R's, 3 A's must be answered. So I think this is where we'll come to the end of the class. And thank you very much for listening. Do you have any question? Time for questions and answer. Yes, I'm listening. Does anyone have questions? Hello, can you unmute yourself and speak? Does anyone have question?
Yeah, hello, yes, I have question. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, ask your question.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you very much for the class. It was quite interesting. And although I read the material before the class, hearing it from your voice made it more interesting. I must say, you have a very nice voice.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. My questions are, so I listened attentively while the class was going on. So I jotted down about 3 questions. So my number one question is coming from the where you mentioned branding versus marketing.
Branding versus marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to that slide.
Yes, I can't remember exactly the slide number, but it said marketing is what you say you are.
Yes, can you see the screen? Is there now? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, said marketing is what you said you are.
Yes.
Branding is what they say you are.
Yes.
So now my question is, can a brand mean different things?
Can you speak up louder? I can't hear you.
Okay, my question is, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So my first question is...
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. My first question is, can a particular brand mean different things to different individuals? To rephrase, now the way I see iPhone, must it be the way another person sees iPhone, or can I see iPhone differently while another person sees iPhone from a different perspective? That is my first question.
Okay, so let me answer that very quickly. No, that's true. We can have different perceptions of a particular brand. Like somebody else can just see iPhone as this phone is just too expensive and is not seeing the benefits. Another person will see the value in the iPhone. So it's very possible. But as a business owner, you are expected to determine the perception people have about your product. Do you understand? At least 90% of people or 85% of people should be thinking in the same way that you want them to think about your product. But different people with their different mindsets, you cannot take away that from people. There's no way you can please everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So moving on, my second question is, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so is where you talked on brand positioning. I think that should be in slide number 11.
Okay.
So, and in the example you gave, you used a pharmacy retailer as an example of brand positioning. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
So now my question now is, for an e-commerce store that might change the products that it is selling at any time, how will such an e-commerce store define brand positioning? Judging from the example you gave, you used a retail store and how
Yes.
it caters for a particular people that are in a certain age group. So
Yes.
now for an e-commerce store, say today
Yes.
I'm selling solar, and I
Okay.
discover that there's another product that is moving market, or maybe I'm selling a product that is seasonal right now
Yes.
and is moving market at the moment, and now the season passes, and I want to, look into another product. You get. So
Yes,
how
yes.
will I now define my brand positioning to my audience so that they will see that today I'm selling this one, next tomorrow I'm selling this one, and you also factor in the fact that as an e-commerce store, it sells
Yes.
varieties of products.
Yes. Yes.
So what is brand positioning from an e-commerce store's standpoint?
All right, now in branding, there are different types of branding, and we have an in-house branding and then house branding. This is what I mean. In-house branding means like in a particular house, there are different rooms. I'm just using the scenario of a house. In a particular building, there are different rooms. Okay, and we have the room for kitchen, we have the room for dining, we have the room for bedroom, and the rest of them. But the entire building could be a bungalow, understand? An e-commerce store can brand its individual product. So instead of just the e-commerce store is for a particular something, no, you can just, this is an e-commerce store where you come and get everything you want. So you brand the different categories. So each product will carry a different brand, okay? Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Not that the entire e-commerce store will now be based on a particular product. When it is out of season, you go for another thing. No, you can differentiate. Just take, for example, Jumia. When we talk about Jumia, Jumia is an e-commerce store. What does Jumia sell? Jumia sells everything, but it has different departments. It has department for electronics. It has department for clothing. It has department for other things. So an e-commerce store should have different categories, not just one category. So each category should be branded.
Okay, and that wouldn't be
I don't know.
confusing.
Do you get
That
my
wouldn't be
point?
confusing. Yeah, I think I get where you're coming from. Talking about Jumia, though that Jumia is big now, but as an upcoming store, wouldn't that be confusing for my audience?
That is if you are selling only one product.
No, if I'm
Hello?
selling variety. Yeah, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, he will join again shortly.
Oh, okay. Yes, I was saying that changing the brandings for my products, for each product that I have, wouldn't that be confusing for my audience, knowing that a store like Jumia now is a big name?
Yes.
A store like Jumia now is a big name. For an upcoming store, wouldn't that be confusing for my audience?
No, the thing is, the purpose of the store in your mind now, in your mind, before creating that store, you know that you want to sell multiple products in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, Samuel.
Yes, yes,
Isn't it?
yes.
Yes, good. Then you make it obvious. An e-commerce store, everybody knows that e-commerce store, they sell almost everything. They have different, so on your website, you should differentiate it. Even if you have not gotten a product in all the categories, at least on your website, there should be a dashboard for electronics, for clothing, for shoes, for books, and the rest of them. Okay, so even if those products are not there, at least they will see it there, so that when those products are available, nobody will be confusing. And even if you want to change, take for example, Etisalats. We were having Etisalats, but then they changed to what? 9mobile. There was a proper brand communication. So even if you want to change your product category, communication matters. Do you understand? Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yes, I'm with you.
So if you communicate very well to the public, nobody will be confused. You know, when we don't communicate, that's when we have issues. Please go
Okay.
ahead. You say you have 3
All right.
questions.
Yeah. So my last question. My last question
All right,
is
sir.
when we talk about branding now, it appears
Yes.
that most company or most successful companies that tell better branding stories are companies that are already established, like multi-million dollar or multi-billion dollar companies. For example, you might see someone that is dealing electrical and he's doing well for himself, but then his business does not have like that branding. Or yet he might not even care about branding, but his business is successful. But when you compare it now to businesses that tell better branding stories, it seems like those businesses are like better off in terms of financial muscle. One, and these businesses there, they have the opportunity or the privilege, the authority. They have the authority in designing their products and marketing it themselves. To buttress my point, Apple now, I think Apple
Yes.
tells, from my opinion, I think Apple tells most better branding story because Apple now has control over the quality of their products, one, over how it should be marketed. Two, now you talk about Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz has better branding story because they have control over the quality of their product and they have control over the marketing too. You talk about Adidas,
Yes.
you talk about Nike, you talk about, even take it to entertainment, because they have the control over what they put out and they have the control over the market where it should go to. So it seems like most businesses that tell better branding stories do so because they have upper hand in terms of control in marketing and in production. When you compare this to other smaller markets or other local markets that do not have control over the quality of the product they are selling or even over how to sell it. I don't know. Do you get my question?
No, when you say smaller market, hello, when you say smaller market does not have control over the quality of the products they're selling, they are the manufacturers. They are the ones that create the products. So they determine the quality. Understand? But if you say bigger companies, they have more stories to tell. Yes, you are very correct. You are very correct. They have bigger, better stories to tell. However, a brand story is not just about the big stories. It could also be your marketing, the way you market your products. Let's say a new noodles is coming to town. Understand? A new noodles is coming to town. The way you advertise it, you can add the story to it. It could be the story. It could be like the story of a blind test. Do you understand? Listen, like you bring your products and you bring the popular products, okay? And then they blindfold the person. I'm using the scenario of a new noodles coming to town. Let's say Indomie versus another noodle. So they could make Indomie in one plate and make your own noodle in another plate. Then they tie the eye of they blindfold the eyes of someone. Let the person not taste the two food. And part of the marketing should be that the person will go more for your own products. That is a marketing story. you are coming against the big guys in the game. You are saying that yes, even though they have been there, but you now you are coming in with a better package. The way you advertise your product is a story. It's a story. Our next class after this, I think that should be next week. It's called copywriting. I'm going to teach you on how to write copies, on how to structure your advertisement in such a way that it compels people to buy more from you. And even if it's just one person that have used your products, the person can testify. These are part of the things that add to your brand story. Remember, testimonials are part of your brand story, okay? Even if it's your family members that have used it, or your friend, or your neighbor, you put it on social media, okay? For you to even gather more stories, you can even give those products out for free. Let people try them, and then tell them to write you back reviews. Those reviews should be documented. All these things forms your brand story. All these things form your brand testimonials and makes you believable. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
Yes,
even as a small brand, you can have a brand story. You can have a brand story. With these few examples I've given, I said that you can give your product out for free for some people and let them just give you reviews. Let them be open for you to video them on camera, and then you put it on social media. All these things are forming your brand stories, and it will market your product very well. That is what Mr. Chris was saying in the last class. That's what all these new products they do. They come to the market and they give their product out for free. When people have used it and see that this product is good, they like to buy more. That's how you penetrate the market as a newcomer. You understand? You provide value first. When you provide value, people will not look for you. That's way.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. But sorry. I don't mean to extend this question this long.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, but now I'm just trying to pinpoint the thin line. The thin line in what I'm trying to say is, now these people are able to do this because they control the production. Now look at somebody that is just a distributor, or somebody that is running an e-commerce store, or just a seller in the street.
Yeah.
That is selling, that is a distributor. Like he buys.
Okay, distributor. Okay.
Like he buys this product, he wants to resell.
Yes.
You see, when a new product is coming to market, the branding story is they can control the branding story. Just like you made use of the noodles. Yes. The noodles can taste better in one way or the other. They switch it so that it can be better than the other noodles.
Yes.
So now it helps them to sell, to portray their branding story.
Yes.
But for somebody that is buying this Indomie and reselling, but you now want as a businessman, and you want to use your intuition.
Okay.
Yes, you want to use your creativity to apply this branding story in that business. How do you do it without being limited to just the features and benefits of this product? I don't know if you understand my question.
I understand you now. So now it's not the manufacturer itself. You are talking about the retailer. Somebody just selling this product, this new product. How will the person sell the product to the market?
Yes. How do you brand yourself to be different so that you can be able to sell more? You can be able to have more customers patronizing you, and you can put your business out there.
Now, when we talk about branding a product, it is not the retailer that brands the product. It is the owner of the product that brands it. Do you understand? Do you understand? So if you are not the manufacturer, there's no way you will brand a product that you are not the one that manufactures it. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
You can sell a product. See, you can sell a product that you do not manufacture, but you cannot brand a product that you do not manufacture. Remember, marketing and branding are different. You can sell it, you cannot brand it because you are not the owner. You cannot come and remove the packaging and come and put your own packaging. That will be fraud because you are not the owner of the product.
Okay. Now I'm clearer now.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Also, to add
Any
to
more
it,
questions?
can you guys hear
Okay,
me?
okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's other people that you can actually go to the manufacturer to customize your own for you, just like what most of the people in Nnewi do. You understand? Now, let's assume that there's a particular spare parts that they find that a manufacturer is producing. I don't forget. They can actually meet that manufacturer and say, see, I want you to produce this for us, but on our name. You get? Now you guys can negotiate. When you now negotiate, they will not be producing those products on your own name. Then at that moment, now you can now brand it to wherever I want to brand it to. I don't know if you get. Like I have an uncle, he sell all these machine parts. It's not actually that he's the one that owns the machine parts. I don't forget. But the machine parts, as it's arriving at Nigeria, it's coming with his name. Otugo spare parts. I don't forget. So you can actually reach out to this manufacturer if they will accept. You understand? If the marketer, if the manufacturer is not much interested in competition, is not interested in your competition or whatever, even though you are still kind of like also selling his product for him, but you're not selling on his name. If the manufacturer can actually accept, this is another way you can actually go about it. If actually you want to brand your own yourself, you understand? So you can actually go and meet them, discuss them. I want you to producing this kind of product for me in my name. Then there will not be an agreement. They will not be producing in your name. Then you can now brand it the way you want, market it the way you want. Just like what most of these our Igbo brothers do in Nnewi with their machine and motor parts and all those stuff. I hope that adds.
Yes, yes, very well, very well, very well. You did.
All right. Any more questions? Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful addiction.